Right, hello there. It's Alan from Alan's Astro, and we're looking at a 32-bit TIFF file that has been stacked for us by deepskystacker. Google deepskystacker or YouTube deepskystacker. It basically stacks all your photos that you've taken. Maybe 200 or 300 photos, whatever. And it stacks them all up and spits out a 32-bit TIFF file. As you can see, the file it gives you is not very good. It usually looks either very purple or very grey. There's no detail, so we need to do some processing in Photoshop to bring it out. You can see there on the left the stacking remnants from deepskystacker. We need to get rid of that, so we're just going to crop it to get rid of it. Oh, pardon me. Seem to have a bit of a dry cough. So we're going to crop it now anyway. It's one of the first things, just a basic crop. I'm just waiting for Photoshop to do its thing, and there it is. So, sorry for the shakes and the out of focus now and again, but as I said, I'm holding the phone with one hand and doing the cropping with another. So I'm just cropping the edges there, just to get rid of the stacking stuff. Okay, and then we're going to press enter, and that's done. So now it's nice and clean, there's no stacking remnants left. Okay, so now then the next thing we need to do is make this a 16-bit file, because Photoshop can't work with 32-bit. Well, it can, but it doesn't give you all the good stuff that we need to process this. So we just went to image mode, 16 bits, click on that, and then it's going to bring this box up, and then you've got this little box at the top here. And I usually pick exposure and gamma, and click OK. And now it's going to come up with another box, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's done it now. Let's have a look. Oh, as you can see now, yeah, it's a 16-bit file. Good. Okay, just press enter to get rid of that. So now we can work with this. It's a 16-bit file and we've cropped it. They're the two things I do right at the beginning. Next thing we do then is go to Windows and down to histogram. And that brings up that box there, and you can see the where it sort of says channel. Underneath the channel you got a like a green and a pink thick line going up and down. We need to align those. Basically, that's the data in your photo. Your data is comprised of red, green and blue channels. So we need to move that red there, where my cursor is, and put it underneath the green. Get it all nicely lined up, and you'll probably see the blue one there as well pop up. So we'll get that aligned as well. So without further ado, let's do that. So we just go to image, and we're going to go to the most used menu of all, which is levels. You will use levels all the time while you're processing, in and out of it all the time. Into levels, and it brings up that same data you've just been looking at in the histogram. And then if you go to RGB and go to red, and then you just drag that across a bit like that. You can see that the red's moved. It's moved a bit too far. There we go. So it's now underneath the green. Yeah. So we're happy with that. Click OK. And there you can see the blue data is uncovered now. So we need to move that across. So we go image, and then back to adjustments, and levels, and this time we'll go to blue. There's blue. And we're going to move that across now. A bit more. Marvellous. And you can see in the histogram just behind it, the one that's got navigator and histogram, they're all lined up. And that's basically what I want. So we'll click OK. And if you look at your picture now, you can see that it looks better. It doesn't look purple anymore. It looks nice and black, or darker anyway, a bit more like a photo. There's still not much detail there, but we're going to sort that shortly. And there's the histogram, as you can see. And we don't really need that anymore now, so we can get rid of that. So I've done them 3 steps. That's what I always do when I first start off. Crop the photos just to get rid of the stacking ridges around the side. Turn it into a 16-bit photo, so we can use things like levels and curves and all the other goodies that Photoshop's got. And then align up all the channels in levels. Right, speaking of which, back to levels. I told you we'll be using levels a lot. And now what we do is, we're now looking at RGB, red, green and blue. And we're going to move that across just to the edge of the data. And then move the middle one across to about, you're going to start to see some detail come out in the main picture. You can probably see it on the photo. So yeah, it's about, what's it saying on the box? It's about 190, isn't it? 195, something like that. So already you can see some data coming out here. Click OK. So already you can start to see some detail, and if you're lucky, a bit of colour coming out. And this has to be done in stages, so we go back to image. adjustments, back down to levels, and you can see that data in the photo has fattened out now. We've stretched it a bit. You'll hear that phrase quite a bit, and we're going to stretch it a bit more, so move that across again, just to the edge of the data, it's about there, and then back to the middle one, move that up a bit, till it looks half decent in the photo. It won't be as much as 190 this time. Probably going to leave it on 148. Looks good to me. Click OK. Then we're going to go back to image again. You've guessed it. Then to adjustments and levels. Okay, data's got a bit more fatter, and we can still get a bit more out of levels. So we'll just move it across there, like that. Middle one again, a bit more this time. What are we on? 123. I don't want the photo to go too light, so I'm leaving it on 117. Click OK. Okay. Can we get another one in levels? Let's have a look. Adjustments. Levels and curves is going to be most used one. As you can see, the data is right near the left hand side now, and we're going to slightly clip it if we do any more. So I'm not going to do any more, so we'll cancel that. Okay, so it looks a bit better than it was when we first started. We can see some detail. And now here's the big one. We go to adjustments again, but this time instead of levels we're going to go down to curves, and this is where we really pull out all that detail, and you can see if it's worth proceeding with going further with your photo. And what I normally do is go down to this little hand icon there and click on the main part of the photo that I want to bring out, which is there, and you see that there's a dot now on the curve screen. It's usually about there in that position, and you pull that up, and as you can see the photo's gone a lot lighter, and I usually pull it up to about there, and then I pull another little dot roughly about here and pull this one down. Yeah, and you're going to see a lot of detail and stuff coming out now. And then I put one more little dot here. Is it going to let me? If it doesn't, just press that. Yeah, we're on it. So we got three dots basically. Just pull that down a bit, and that'll reduce the brightness in the center of the thing, the object you're trying to bring out. Okay, so that's what my curved stretch looks like. Other people do it different ways, but that's how I do it, and seems to work for me. Click OK, and here's your photo now then. Obviously it's hard on the phone, and you know you can't see it, but there's a lot more detail there now. And the next thing I would do with this is go to a plugin. Well, the next thing I would do is, I am going to go to the plugin, but I click on this first, that icon, because this photo is too light at the moment, and I just draw a line around the object like that. You'll have to forgive me because I'm trying to do this one-handed. I think we got it, yeah. And then we go to select and inverse, and you're going to get all these marching ants going around the screen. And then you go to filter and down to this plugin called RC Astro Gradient Exterminator, which is a great plugin to get rid of all that gradient and light and to make the picture look a lot better. Click on medium and then click OK, and it's going to do something. There we go. And there you are. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Then just click anywhere outside the photo to get rid of those marching ants and press enter. Oh, it should get rid of it. Oh, just go up to select and press deselect, just to get rid of those marching ants. The picture looks a lot better now. Remember how it was at the beginning? Well, it's looking, there's more detail, and if you're lucky you might even have some colour depending on what camera you're using. The Canon 6D that I use is a great camera for colour. It seems to really capture it better than the one we're working on, which is the Canon 2000D. It's a great beginner's camera, but it doesn't seem to do too good with the colour. But we can do something about that later in Photoshop, and I'll show you how to do that. So what we would do next is just to go back to image, and you've guessed it, we're going to levels, and there we are. We can go a lot more in now. Again, don't worry about that thin little line at the front. Go to about there, and it's really going to make the picture look a lot better. Darken it up. Don't bother about the middle one. You can actually look at the end one a bit if you like, mess around with it, but I'm not going to do too much. I'll just leave it about there. Click OK, and then go to image again, adjustments. You guessed it, we're going to levels yet again. Let's see if we can get any more out of it. Maybe just a bit more. You don't really want to clip any of this data. Just a bit more, not too much. And the middle one, yeah, bring that over, not too much, just darkening up the photo. As you can see, it's looking a lot better. Then click OK.